I've spent the past couple hours on ESPN.com debating with the Penn State alumni about the Jerry Sandusky scandal and the inactions taken by administrators and Joe Paterno in terms of stopping that scandal. Again, I just want to say it truly, truly is amazing to me on how Joe Paterno apologists or Penn State apologists can justify the inactions taken by Penn State when it came to stopping that scandal. I mean, people say, well, the earliest reports were in 98 or 2001 and all this crap, so it's like the thing that happened in the 1976 didn't happen. Question, do any of you Penn State supporters think that Jerry Sandusky all of a sudden became a pedophile in the early 2000s? No. I mean, it's like people who become serial killers don't just all of a sudden decide, hey, I'm going to start killing lots of people just because, I want to. You know, there's always been something fucked up with them. And Jerry Sandusky, there was something fucked up with him. But, you Penn State apologists, it's like, you seem to care more about the reputation of Joe Paterno and all that because it's like the rioting that took place after he was fired. It's like, the beloved coach. It's like the reputation and the legacy of the beloved coach is more important than the fact that children were being sexually molested. I mean, what the fuck? And then, it's truly amazing. And I've been debating with people saying, well, how come, if this bothers you so much, how come you're not out there stopping evil from happening? And it's like, what? Am I expected to develop superpowers or something? Or, I live in Bellingham, Washington. If someone is murdered, am I supposed, despite the fact that I'm not a cop and I wouldn't physically be able to be a cop because I'm epileptic, am I supposed to, go out and solve the murder? I mean, it is just truly amazing. And, they, people just don't seem to get, there were so many people at Penn State that had a chance to stop evil from happening, and they didn't, And all of you Penn State apologists, all you Joe Paterno apologists, seriously make me fucking sick. Because it's like, oh, well, the football program is more important. And it's like, somebody justified it by saying, well, I've heard of other coaches showering with their players and stuff. So it's amazing. It's like this pro-pedophilia stance from Penn State supporters when it comes to that scandal. And it's just, somebody said, well, hey, child molestation happens everywhere else, so hey, why can't it happen at Penn State? It happens everywhere else, so why can't we do it too? And, those who want that statue back, I say, yeah, put the statue back. But you gotta make sure that Joe Paterno's glasses are pure black, including the lenses. Or at least him looking the other way. I mean, somebody who enables pedophilia deserves to have a statue put up of themselves. And people say, well, also, like, the police exonerated Sandusky of his charges in 1998, and it's like, that was the campus police, and honestly, with how college athletics, the athletes are looked upon the other way, looked differently. They commit a crime or something. If it's a star player, the people will look the other way. And odds are, people were looking the other way. Odds are the sphere of influence that the football team had extended to the campus police, and people there just looked the other way because, hey, this is what made our school famous. People may have started thinking about coming here because of the football team. Because, hey, the football team's great. So we're going to look the other way. I mean, Sandusky was a hell of a defensive coordinator. So, he's a great defensive coordinator. So we're going to look the other way and let him continually molest children because, well, hey, football comes first. Right? It is just sickening to me that it really, there are probably a lot of Penn State supporters who are probably more upset at the children Sandusky molested for either like seducing him or something, or not keeping their mouths shut. Be like that episode of South Park with the Catholic Church where they were talking about molestation accusations and stuff, and you hear the priests all in the South Park episode saying, yeah, the altar boys have to learn to keep their mouths shut. And I'm going to guess a lot of you sick fucks at Penn State probably thought the same way. I mean, again, it is just truly sickening that this happened, and it is truly sickening that there are so many people supporting the inactions by Penn State. And like I've said, people say, well, the 1976 claim is just a claim. It didn't happen, and it's like it first started happening in like the early 2000s. I really, really, really fucking doubt that. Just due to the fact that, again, odds are Sandusky didn't just all of a sudden become a pedophile in the early 2000s. He didn't just all of a sudden decide that. And I say, God help any children that live in State College, Pennsylvania. And God help any children that actually step on foot on that campus. And again, you Penn State apologists and stuff, people said, why aren't you doing anything to stop to me online tonight? And it's like, and these were Penn State alumni, and it's just, hell, my nose is clean on that. This doesn't happen at my university. This doesn't happen at my school. I went to Central Washington University, and the only controversy that's ever been associated with my school was, the students not being able to hold their liquor, and students not being able to handle Four Loko drinks. But that was a little blip. Now, because of this scandal, people, when they hear Penn State University, they're not going to think of anything else except that scandal. The only way that school pretty much will ever be able to move on and people will forget about that scandal is if some researcher, some scientist or researcher at that school suddenly discovers a cure for every single disease on the planet. And, and that school becomes this great bastion of hope now because of that. But no, this is going to follow this school forever and ever and ever. And the way all you Penn State apologists act, it is going to, you are not really helping your school. You're defending pedophilia And get your heads out of your fucking asses and start realizing that.